Welcome to the Undertone Podcast, where we talk about all things creepy.
We'll be listening to a series of audio files
on Friday the 13th.
But this feels different.
Critics are calling Undertone the scariest movie you'll ever hear. It's an unholy terror and the year's first great horror movie.
They unleashed something.
Undertone, rated R, in theaters Friday the 13th.
ACC basketball in the uniquely Spanish architecture of the campus of Stanford University in Palo Alto, California, as Pitt takes on Stanford in an ACC battle. And there's a lot at stake here, because if you look at the bottom half of the standings, Stanford currently 14th, Pitt 15th. The top 15 advance to the ACC tournament. If you're in 16, 17, or 18, you do not make the tournament postseason play. Dave Feldman along with Ben Braun. And the key to the game tonight, if you are Stanford, is probably getting the ball in the hands of Okori. Not only one of the best freshmen in the country, let's be honest, he's one of the best players in the country.
Well, he is, Dave, and what I like about him is that I don't think there's a person in the country that does more for his team than Ebuka Okori. I mean, when he's on, and he's on almost every night, he makes a difference for his team. He's led their team to victory. Why? He explodes to the basket, can use either hand to finish, can create his own shot, and he's so good on defense. His anticipation in the full court to be able to get from the defensive end to the offensive end and is just uncanny. And he's just made an impact on the Stanford Cardinal all year long.
Only A.J. DeBonza of BYU and Cameron Boozer of Duke score more. Talk about elite company.
Yeah, I mean, he's with the top elite players in the country, but again, he just has made a difference. You take him off Stanford, they're not the same team, Dave.
Seal up on Pitt has been great lately.
He's been great, and he had a great game against Notre Dame in their win. Dropped in 22. He's going to have to step up big for the Panthers tonight.
Stanford in the home white. 24, Jalen Thompson making his first start of the year. He is in for Ryan Agarwal, who will come off the bench, but has been struggling offensively. Okori's first shot of the game, no good. But he steals it back.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, sealing another possession for his team.
Thompson. A.J. Rahosi is 4. Aiden Kamen, 52, rounding out the starting 5 for Kyle Smith. And an errant pass, and Amari Witherspoon with the steal. Witherspoon draws contact and will go to the line and shoot 2.
Yeah, if you're Stanford, obviously you know that Ebuka Okori is going to get doubled probably early in the possession. You must get in the passing lane, and then you must meet your pass. And that was not an easy pass to beat, but you've got to really help your teammates out.
So Amari Witherspoon, the freshman from Bowie, Maryland. First free throw is good, and that's significant because Pitt is not a good free throw shooting team.
No,
in fact, it's one of the things they do poorly, Coach, 66%.
Yeah, that's number 351 in the country, and there's not many more teams out there. So, and Jeff Capel talked to us about that in shoot-around. He wants his team to really get there. It's still important to get to the free throw line, get the other team in the bonus, maybe foul some key people out, but they've got to convert those free throws.
Benny Geeler, the former walk-on, three-point specialist. Thompson making his first start. Rahosi and Aiden Kamen round out the top 5 for Kyle Smith in his second season. As Rahosi fakes the handoff and misses the layup.
I think he couldn't believe how open he was to the rim.
Cialepa leaves it in traffic for Cameron, and he lays it in, and big Cameron Corn has Pitt on the board.
Well, they're capable. Now they're on a short bench, but they can score at the rim. There's that double team against Okori. They're doubling him early.
Yeah, you mentioned the short bench, Ben. They had played as Geeler launches a long three. And Benny Geeler from right in front of us.
Dave, that's a long shot. Not for where you used to shoot him on this court, by the way. We'll get into that later.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this, Benny Geeler is not shy about his range on a basketball court.
He can miss the first 3 or 4, as he did the other day against Cal, and still come back and shoot a lot.
Yeah, he's a great streak shooter, highest three-point percentage on the team.
Cialepa off the mark. And Thompson with the rebound.
Yeah, nice challenge by Okori defense. to take advantage of their depth and try to move the ball and get Pitt.
Gammon looking into Rahosi, instead goes back out to Okori. 10 on the clock for the freshman. Thompson drives in, the left, and the nice finish by Jalen Thompson.
He can do that. He's athletic. He's played well in the last couple of games, getting the start tonight for the struggling Ryan Huggerwall. And we'll talk about that later, but nice drive.
Yeah, Thompson missed the first 6 weeks, Coach, with a thumb injury. Got him a little bit behind the 8 ball, according to Kyle, but has really bounced back and been playing well. Witherspoon got caught in the air, and that's a turnover. Rahosi tipped it back. Corn got it, and then Corn dunks it in.
Yeah, A.J. Rahosi knows he shouldn't have tipped that basketball. You have a chance, Dave, to put 2 hands on the ball, put 2 hands on it. A bit aggressive early.
Coy splits the defender and finds Cameron for 3. Rahosi out-wrestles his teammate for the ball. Can't get it to go. And DeMarco Minor, they call him Polo with the rebound, number 7. Barry Dunning is 22 for Pitt. Another turnover. Here comes Okori. He's got 1 on 2. Takes it all the way in and draws the foul.
Yeah, and that's what he does. He's so adept at drawing fouls. He can split defenders, and you think that you've got a chance to get him blocked, but he draws a lot of fouls. Buka Okori in transition, ball gets popped loose here, and he's all over it. I mean, he's good. He's not going to wait for the defense to set up.
Shot a team leading 189 free throws, and he makes 83%.
Oh, that's a high percentage. I mean, and you're talking about a freshman with that type of savvy and ability to draw fouls. He really does a great job of taking what the defense gives you and then even some more.
Oscar Hielte, the freshman from Belgium, number 15, comes in, and Rahosi goes to the bench. Corn for 3. And he's got it, and Pitt regathers the lead, 7-6.
Yeah, Stanford
8-6.
Stanford overhelped just a little bit. Nice pass back.
And we'd like to welcome you all to ACC basketball here at Maples Pavilion in Palo Alto. Dave Feldman with the coach Ben Braun. Stanford in the white taking on Pitt. A lot at stake here as both are trying to make sure they finish in the top 15, which gets them into the ACC tournament. This is Jalen Thompson trying to beat the shot clock buzzer, making his first start. So far, kind of a sloppy start. If you've just joined us, there's been a lot of back and forth turnovers. And there's one right there. So we'll take a break. Sorry you just joined us and we're going away, but we promise we're coming right back. It's 9-7 Pittsburgh.
Can our Nissan Pathfinder do this?
The new V6-powered Nissan Pathfinder. Nissan, #1 in new vehicle quality.
Hockey is here. The Spinoramas, here. Intensity coming in hot, here. The final playoff push and the Stanley Cup Final. Oh, it's here, baby, on ESPN.
Next Tuesday night's ACC Network men's basketball doubleheader at 7 Eastern. The 11th ranked Virginia hosts Wake Forest, and then number 24 Louisville hosts Syracuse. Like everything else, both games available on the ESPN app. ACC standings, Stanford currently in 13th, Pitt in 15th. Top 15 go to the ACC tournament. So significant. Stanford also not without thoughts of still making the NCAA tournament. We need a strong finish, coach, and would need likely to do well in the early rounds of the ACC tournament.
They're capable. They've had big wins this year, and Pitt just wants to get back in that tournament. ACC tournament.
Kamen drives, draws contact, no call. And here comes Pitt. Minor pulls it back. Cialeppa from the corner for 3, no good. The tip dunk is good. And where in the world did Barry Dunning come from?
Well, you usually block out, but I don't think you blocked that out. That's just over the top of you. And I mean, what a great tip that was.
Benny Geeler shot 1-3. He made it. Ryan Agarwal back in the game now. He had started, but came off. He's been in a bad shooting slump as Cam inside gets his offensive rebound, comes to Agarwal, and Agarwal gets it to Benny Geeler, and Geeler's for 3, and that one's off.
Yeah, Stanford really rushing themselves inside. They've had opportunities to draw fouls, and they've kind of hurried their shots.
Stanford 0 for its last 6, and Coach, so far we've had 6 turnovers so far, so it's been kind of choppy start.
Well, both teams playing hard, but not playing as carefully as probably the coaches would like them to.
Cialeppa left alone underneath, and it is 13-7. Yes, we're on top.
Well, Stanford's a little bit out of sorts, but again, they're leaving some points on, off the board. They've been at the rim a couple of times, and they just haven't been able to draw iron or draw fouls. Except for that young man, he's the one guy that will draw fouls when he gets that close. But what you want to talk about getting over the top, I used to get mad at my guys. I say, block out. Hard to block that out with Dave. Yeah, you block out, and he just jumps over you. That happened to me when we had a team play North Carolina one time, and I said, guys, block out your man. I said, Coach, that's Vince Carter. So they were blocking him out. He just jumped over the top of you.
Yeah, Dunning only 6'6", was at South Alabama, but he certainly can jump.
Get up.
Jeremy Dent-Smith, the grad transfer, number 25, in to help Okori inside, who got fouled. His ball handling, Okori, I'm speaking of, Coach, is so solid and so close to the vest. It's really hard to take the ball from him.
No, the ball's on a string, and then with this, also the ability to keep the ball and retain possession because he's so strong. You don't really give him his due, but he's a strong player. And I've said this before, but if you put one guy on him, you're going to be in trouble. You need a man and a half, and a lot of times 2, because he's just too good to get by one-on-one coverage.
Originally was going to go to Harvard, where his parents went. He committed there, and then, he realized he was kind of doing it to please his parents, and he put himself back out there. And Kyle Smith heard about him and came to visit, and it was the right decision.
Well, 2 good choices, obviously playing for Tommy Amaker and Harvard and Stanford, 2 high academic schools, but obviously high basketball level at Stanford. He's had just a phenomenal freshman year.
Cialeppa inside, and now Witherspoon, the freshman with the left. And Corrin tips it in. And Corrin has 9 of the 15 for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Pitt's been a dog on the boards, Dave. They've made it really tough for Stanford. Stanford wants to get back in this game. It's not going to be making shots initially. They've got to get some stops, and they've done a decent job early on the clock, but late they've got to get rebounds.
Jeff Capel, 8th season, 124 and 124. The team finished 24-12 back in 2023. Made the tournament. He was the ACC Coach of the Year. Obviously was a great player at Duke. His brother's on the coaching staff. His dad was a legendary coach at Old Dominion.
What a basketball pedigree. I mean, his dad was one of the best in the business. Phenomenal coaching guy before he passed away, sadly. And Jeff Capel, I've coached against Jeff when he was playing for Duke, and he was an outstanding player back to the Blue Devils.
Donovan Young and Agarwal lose the ball, and Pitt comes up with it. Corrin has already scored 7 points, and a ball foul against Pitt down low.
Well, good break for Stanford because they were about to get another offensive rebound putback, and you can't have that. I've been impressed with Pitt early. I mean, you talk about a team that's been beleaguered with injuries. They finished the game with 6 guys played last game. I mean, that's just not happening around the country. And to Jeff Capel's credit, and Cal Smith as well, we'll talk about that. You're losing some of your best players. You don't alibi. They make no excuses. They just keep playing.
They play hard. You mentioned only 6 players played in the last game. Noyes Indrisitis, who's in right now, number 25, was the only guy that came off the bench.
Yeah, these guys aren't playing a lot of minutes for the Panthers this year.
But they snapped the 5-game losing skid, Coach. They beat Notre Dame.
Yeah, huge break to get back on the track.
Agarwal's missed his last 18 from 3. Good shooter, been a very bad slump. Rahosi has it poked away, and that is a foul underneath on Kieran Mullen.
Well, players go through slumps, Dave, and Agarwal is just such a good shooter. We'll get into that later. But Stanford's searching now to get something going other than a Corey to the basket, get on the board, and then see if they can stop this Pitt Panther team.
Pitt's Panther team playing strong right now. We have a media timeout. It is 15-9, Pittsburgh on top. We will come back to Maples. ACC basketball continues.
Like a relentless weed, moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms can keep coming back. Break away to what's possible with Tremfya. With symptom relief as early as 4 weeks, remission at 12 weeks, and lasting remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible healing of the intestinal lining. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and TB. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today.
Special Agent Will Trask.
This killer's underestimating you? Good. They won't even see you coming.
What now? We get him.
Well, Dave, the senior from Allen, Texas, has had quite a start for Pitt. I mean, he's been responsible for 4 baskets, only missed 1 shot, perfect from 3. And he's got 3 rebounds of his own, but he's just tough to the basket. He's been a real load for his team. I mean, he's a big reason why Pitt has this lead early. And if you think about it, here's a young man in his career that's gone from 9 points to 10 points, 11 to 12. He's made a progression every year he's played in college basketball.
And the last 2 games, he's averaging 18 and 7 and 27 attempts last 2 games, most in any 2-game span. So he is playing well at the end of the season and improving rapidly.
Yeah, Pitt's playing well defensively, Dave.
Meanwhile, Stanford has to find a way to score, and they finally do. Well, the tip is good.
They needed that. Stanford was shooting an ice cold 18%. And a lot of that, obviously, is Pitt and their aggressiveness. But Stanford's also missed some easy ones.
They're 1 of their last 9 field goals.
Stanford in the zone now, trying to mix things up a little bit. Now they're going back to some matchup man principles.
Indricitis for 3. Indricitis. Noyes Indricitis from off the bench.
And how about go down to the shot clock and just drain one if the shot clock expires.
Indricitis is 7 of 9 from his last 3, dating back a couple games. Dent Smith counters.
He needs that to do that for Stanford because they are struggling. I mean, as you say, 1 for the last 9, under 20% for the game. Stanford going to show you the zone again. No match back out of it.
Dunning answers. Okay, now the team's coach is starting to heat up a little bit. We had a choppy start.
Now, and Pitt's really playing at a high level. I mean, they're hungry. You can tell, and they want to get back on the winning track.
Jeff Capel had never been here to Palo Alto, to Stanford. A lot of the players hadn't. Walked around the campus today, they said. Thought it was beautiful. And now they're trying to do some damage at Maples. Dent Smith left open after the pump fake. And he's 2 for 2.
Well, great unselfish basketball by Stanford. They did a great job passing out of the double team. Corey very unselfish, and he'll do that. He'll find his teammates.
He scored 16 or more points in 4 of the past 10. Off the bench, the grad senior. Interesting, Coach, that Abuka Okoye has yet to score a field goal. Made a couple free throws. Witherspoon, no. Ball bounces to Minor, who gives it to Dunning. And Rahosi with a rebound.
Well, that's a good 2-handed rebound. You got to put 2 on the board, on the ball, defensive end. You can tip with 1 on offense.
Double team on Okori. Cameron inside. And that will be a travel, and it is.
Yeah, good call by the officials. You can still a little bit of hesitation by Ryan Agarwal, but how about Jeremy Dent-Smith? And Dave, you mentioned this. He's hit shots this year. He's had some big games. You know, he's a veteran player, calm, but he can knock down shots. He's strong, and Stanford's going to need him to do that. Take a little of the pressure off of Abuka Okori.
Korn, who's got 9 of the 20 for Pitt. Indricitis left alone, and Korn with a nice pass.
How about the dime from Korn? I mean, he's just making every right play for the Pitt Panthers. He's been on fire for his team.
Indricitis had a slow start in ACC play, 0 for 12, missing all 5 of his 3-pointers, but he has since been on fire, and as I mentioned that, he gets a steal.
Again, it's the double team on Okori that's causing Stanford some problems.
Minor inside the corner. Back out. Indricitis, 6 on the clock. Indricitis in and out. Korn out hustles everybody and lays it in. Cameron Korn is having a game.
Yeah, you better find him. The shot goes up. You've got to circle his number and make sure you put a body on him. He's just so tough on the offensive glass.
Already the 20th game of the season, double-digit scoring for Cameron Korn. Young, pump fakes, no good. And once again, the rim unkind to Stanford.
Now, they've had some good looks inside the paint. Just can't finish. They're rushing their shots.
Witherspoon back door, and he was pushed. So we'll take another timeout. Indricitis and Korn, it is a good combination. It's a Pittsburgh team that knows they're still playing for something. They just snapped a 5-game losing streak, and they want to win one on the road here. They want the sweep. And Korn playing as hard as anybody.
You want to file free? Hit it. In Nate Bargatze's new game show, Average Wins.
We asked 100 average Americans which of these would be the worst to have as a sibling. Werewolf. Because you look like a werewolf.
The Greatest Average American. Wednesdays on ABC.
All right, welcome back. If you're wondering how Stanford's season has gone, they started off red hot, 14-4, including wins over 16th-ranked Louisville and 14th-ranked North Carolina. That really had Maples Pavilion rocking. But then, Coach, they've gone 2-7 since. Currently, 3% chance to make the tournament. I know injuries have been a factor.
Well, big part, you know, you can't overlook Chisholm Okpara, who is averaging 14 points, 4 rebounds. The senior has been out during that stretch.
Kyle Smith, second year here, had great success at Columbia, at USF, then went to Pullman for Washington State. Took that team to the postseason, and now here. One of the real good guys in the business is all Kyle Smith, and if you give him some players, Kyle can do some things with him. He is a tremendous coach.
Yeah, coach of the year in the Pac-12, his last year taking his team to the tournament. That's no easy task, but he's got his hands full tonight in Pitt. Pitt's playing awfully well. The story so far has been Pitt defense. They're holding Stanford at 31%. They're playing aggressively.
Rahosi going against Korn. 3 fakes don't work. The jump hook does.
Well, he can do that. A.J. Rahosi, if he gets 2 feet in the paint like he just did, he's alone. He can put some of these Pitt Panthers in foul trouble, but they haven't got in there very often, and Pitt defense has been pretty stingy.
Well, if you get them in foul trouble, you do well, because they're only playing 6 players. As Korn has really been a wrecking crew. He'd be the one guy you want to get out of there with 11 points.
Yeah, but I like that they're going inside now, and Pitt's choosing now not to double, maybe a little help inside. But, you know, Stanford's got some shooters, so you don't want to overhelp. But Rahosi's good. He can hurt you one-on-one.
Ebuka Okori back in the game. He's got 4 points, all free throws. He's 0 for 2 from the field. Minor, the defender falls down, but Jay Thompson picks it up.
That's great possession defensively for Stanford.
Jalen Thompson making his first start. Over to Donovan Young. Now Benny Geeler. Back to Young inside. He's got a big height advantage. Instead gives it up to Thompson. Thompson inside. All kinds of contact. And count the hoop to Jalen Thompson.
Well, I like the perseverance about going inside to Donovan Young twice. Geeler into Young, and then finding the cutting Jalen Thompson, who powers it off the glass inside.
Korn rolling inside. The left misses. That's the first one Korn's missed today.
You're surprised when he misses one.
Gets it back, draws the contact, and Cameron Korn will go to the free throw line.
He's a load. I mean, Stanford really struggling to keep him from getting to the glass. He's so powerful. His first step is big. His ability to finish and absorb contact. Not afraid of contact. You love players that don't mind playing through contact.
65% free throw shooter. This is his first attempt of the night. Once again, this is something Pitt does poorly, Coach, is shooting free throws. And I asked Coach Capel about that. I don't know how you feel about that. He goes, you know, sometimes you start missing them, and then it becomes a mental thing with the confidence.
It's contagious. I hate to say it, because some of these guys they're pretty good players, and they just struggle because you get in a mind thing. But give me a team that gets the line. I'd rather get there and figure out how to make them than never get there and make them all.
Layup is good, and Okori has his first field goal.
Yeah, you see how dangerous he is. You guard him one-on-one, and you turn your back in the help side position. He's gone. Yeah, I mean, don't hang your teammates out to dry, because he'll make you pay.
Averaging 22 a game. Only the freshman Cameron Boozer at Duke and A.J. DeBonza at BYU score more as freshmen. Flying inside, the ball's left for Korn, who lays it in. Korn now is 15.
And you can help off, but you can't help off of Korn, because Korn will make you pay.
4-point lead for the Panthers. The block by Dunning.
Big time block.
Andrositis finishing with the left.
I like
Noyes Andrositis continues.
I like his ability to turn the corner.
Okori pushes it, goes off Pitt, and Stanford will keep the ball.
Yeah, you talk about you're playing tough defense. You trail the hand back, and he turns the corner and uses his offhand. I mean, there's no help there. You're getting through the middle of the paint, and there's nobody in help position. Great play.
Andrositis averages 8 a game. He's got 7 already. Had 17, a career high versus Notre Dame on Saturday. Good defense by Pitt. Benny Geeler with a little separation.
That's a part of his game he's worked on. You know he can shoot it from deep, but now he gets his opponent on some skates. Yeah, Stanford's going to have to pick up their defense now, because Pitt's showing you the ability to play aggressive on their hand defensively. There it is.
Nice defense by Stanford. Okori up ahead to Geeler. Geeler reverses it. Nice decision-making by the little guard.
Well, when Stanford's been good this year, Dave, they've played well defensively. And they're going to have to do that against Pitt. They can't just allow Pitt to come down and score.
Underrated on that play, Coach, is the way Okori just tipped it ahead to Geeler very smartly. Witherspoon, the freshman. Nice defense. Okori with a rebound.
Great precision defensively.
Geeler for 3. Benny Geeler, and Stanford has the lead.
Geeler's back. He's back in the house. Okori finds his teammate, the sharpshooter.
Stanford's last lead was 7-6, and now they have a lead again. Benny Gieler, one of the smallest guys on the court, can do it from uptown, and he can also do it from downtown. Trying to get a little crowd interaction at Maples. Welcome back. 30-29 Stanford on top of Pittsburgh. Stanford just regained the lead for the first time since they were up 7-6. Benny Gieler, a big part of that with a 3 and a mid-range. Coach, I would think they're doing it on offense. You're saying, no, defense brought them down.
No, there's no question. They've really stepped it up defensively. They've gone on a 7-0 run with no turnovers, and they had 5. And what have they done with Pitt? They forced 3 turnovers that have caused those runs to take place. So Stanford turning it up defensively.
Andrositis, who's been a big spark off the bench. We say off the bench, it's a short bench. So far, only 6 players have played for Pitt. That's how many played in their last game, a win against Notre Dame.
You can see Stanford now just picking up the aggression a little bit. They still have to do a good job of keeping Pitt off the glass. That's been the real challenge for Stanford.
Deshaun Jackson, Brandon Cummings, and Papa Amadou Kante, all players who would contribute for Pitt, all out for the season with injuries, as Witherspoon gets an easy layup.
Well, that's what they've done. When they've gotten in trouble, they've gotten Stanford at the rim, and that couldn't have been an easier basket for Pitt. Right at the rim by Omari Witherspoon, the freshman.
Panthers back up by 1. Kamen inside. Good defense by Corn. And a jump ball wrestled away, and possession goes to Pittsburgh.
Well, you can see Aiden Kamen's upset because he just, I think hurried himself in there, got tied up, and what he wanted to do is get to the foul line or draw a foul. And, look at the stats right now. Stanford hasn't been to the line other than Okori very much, so they've got to find a way to get to the free throw line.
How hard is it, Coach, to play with just 6 players?
It's hard, but you know what? At least you're not coming out. You get in the rhythm. It's the same chemistry.
Andrositis inside, and he is called for traveling.
Well, that's good defense. That forced the travel again. Now, that's 4 turnovers in the last series of plays. So Stanford definitely stepping up defensively now, putting pressure on the Panthers.
Stanford lost this matchup last year in Pitt. That was their first matchup in 12 years. Prior to that, it's hard to believe, Coach, this series started as Kemen inside and finally gets it off the glass in 1931. Pitt won that game 22-11. What do you remember about that game? Were you there?
I'm not claiming anything back in those days, Dave. But
so you weren't there in 31.
No, not quite. But
Pitt won 22-11. Pre-shot clock era, clearly.
Sure that wasn't football?
No, that was a basketball score.
Okay.
Five on the clock. Pitt has to launch it, and Dunning does. Not the best possession.
No, but that's a gamble there. You go for the steal, don't get it. And what happens now, you give your opponents a chance to knock a 3 down. They probably wouldn't have got a good shot off.
Pittsburgh by 2. Abuka Okori, a little bit of a slow start for really one of the best players in all of basketball. Now 6 on the clock. Ball tipped out, and Stanford will have it with 3.4 left on the shot clock.
Yeah, and they're struggling with Okori because every time he touches it, he is drawing a crowd. There's 2 minimally on him as he turns the corner at every juncture. Short clock here.
Got to shoot it. Hilte doesn't realize it, and Benny Gieler gets it off after the fact.
Yeah, I never liked throwing it to a big guy who doesn't want it or can't shoot the 3.
Or doesn't know how much time's left.
Yeah, but that's putting him in a bad position. Dave, you throw it to him, and there's not much he's going to do to create a shot with 3 seconds to go. That's got to be in the hands of one of your guards.
Under a minute first half. Pittsburgh Panthers up by 2. Currently in 15th in the ACC. Top 15 teams go to the tournament, the ACC tournament. Andrositis inside, hanging with the left. Hilte with the rebound.
A good drive, just couldn't finish it. Maybe a little contact on that last play, but Stanford playing aggressively. Well, they're not doubling Gieler, but they are doubling Okori.
Gieler pulls it back. 6 on the clock. Now they got to go. Turnover by Stanford. 7 seconds left in the half. Minor. Indricitis for 3. No good. Tip, no good. Ball comes down to Gieler, and that's how the first half will end.
Got a good half. If you're a Pitt Panther, you are ahead at the half. You're playing aggressively. Stanford put on a nice run to close the half, but the Panthers are doing a good job of just being aggressive. Stanford going to have to talk about ways to get some other guys involved besides Okori.
Our halftime score, 34-32 Pittsburgh. Let's now go to the halftime report. Hoover Tower on the beautiful Stanford campus. A nice night in Northern California for ACC basketball, where the Pittsburgh Panthers lead the Stanford Cardinals 34-32. And one of the reasons they're leading, Ben Braun, is Cameron Corn.
Hey, he's had an outstanding half. I mean, he's been tough from everywhere. He's been explosive to the basket, knocked down threes. He's been on the glass. And Abuka Okori's done what he does. He can get to the rim, but he's only taken 3 shots. You know, it's really been the Pitt defense that's kept Abuka Okori from being a factor in this game.
Funny you should mention that, Dave Feldman, along with the legendary coach Ben Braun. It brings us to our experts at work. It is brought to you by Principal. How have they defended Okori, who so far, coach, is just 1 for 3 from the field?
Well, you decrease shot attempts. That's one way to keep a great scorer from hurting you. He's only gotten 3 attempts. You can see they're going to put more than 1 player on the ball. They're not going to leave him. Their help is early. They'll make him give the ball up. You're not going to want him to finish to the basket, but I mean, it's just really important that they don't leave him until the ball gets out of his hands. So Pitt's doing an outstanding job, and Abuka Okori has not been many games this year where Abuka Okori has only put up 3 shots in a half.
You look at the rebounds, the points in the paint, dominated by Pittsburgh. Gieler's had a really good first half, 10-4, 5 from the field.
Well, and if you're going to make Abuka Okori give it up, then Benny Gieler's got to be a recipient. He can torch you. If you can make sure he's within a pass away, he can make things happen for the Cardinals.
Underway in the second half, Okori splits the defenders and draws the foul.
Well, and that's one thing you've got to do if you're Abuka Okori. You may not get the shots, but you can get to the free throw line. Nobody's done it better. He's been there almost 200 times this season, and he does it by being aggressive.
Been there 4 times tonight and converted on all 4. And now a perfect 5 for 5. Once again, not a top 100 recruit, coach, and committed to Harvard. His parents had gone there, changed his mind. Kyle Smith comes into the picture, and Kyle said, look, I knew he was good. He goes, let's be honest, no one knew he was this good.
No, he said, look, I got to play this guy. You know, in practice, it was just every day he was showing what he could do, and, you know, he's really well liked by his teammates. His teammates really appreciate what he's done for their squad. Likeable guy, but smart player.
Minor splits the defender, leaves it for Cialepa, back to Minor for 3. Perfect. And Pitt has a 3-point lead.
Yeah, good basketball, inside out, good spacing, smart play by Minor. DeMarco Minor from Chicago gets to the open area.
We call him Polo. Coach calls him Polo. Everyone from Marco Polo. Gieler backdoor, and Benny Gieler lays it in.
Yeah, I love the backdoor cut against pressure. Benny Gieler can do that, but the pass by Aiden Cameron really on the money. Stanford doesn't want to exchange baskets. They got to play the defense they played towards the end of the first half.
Is there something about this tempo or the way the game this is being played right now, Ben, that you feel favors one of the teams?
Well, I like what Pitt's doing is being aggressive to the basket. They're really offensively attacking Stanford. So that's been a real recipe for success. You can see Stanford kind of closing in on the paint, trying to keep Pitt off, but Gieler's also been a guy that when they're putting all that attention on Abuka Okori, he's won games for Stanford this year, so he's got to step up. He's got to be aggressive. He's not afraid to, whether it's by the shot or by the drive, and he's an outstanding free throw shooter, almost 90%.
Hey, a reminder, here's this week's featured baseball game on ACC Network and the ESPN app. Friday night, number 17 Miami and number 10 Florida start a 3-game series at Alex Rodriguez Park at Marklight Field. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern.
Yeah, Dave, they're checking now on the foul to see exactly what was going on in the call here.
So your answer to my question then was, if I'm going to try to figure it out.
Was it that?
Well, no, I think it was clear. Is right now you're saying if you're Pittsburgh, you're happier with the way this game's going than Stanford.
I think so, because you're being the aggressor, number one. You're doing a really good job on Ibuka Okori, and you got to live with some of the results. If other guys in Stanford are going to make plays, you got to live with that. You know that Okori can beat you. And Benny Dealer's been the one guy, but Dave, Stanford's only has 2 of their 14 points to paint from their post players. They've got to get their post guys more active. Other guys have stepped up for Stanford, but if you're going to take the ball out of Okori's hands, the other guys have got to step up. Chisholm Opara was that guy for this year. Somebody else now has to play that new role.
Cialeppa makes 1 of 2, which is what he does. 50% shooter as Jalen Thompson answers on the other end.
Well, there you go. Ibuka Okori, not a selfish player. He's an unselfish player. He gets the ball to his teammate. Jalen Thompson converts.
Thompson making his first start of the season, replacing Ryan Underwall, who's coming off the bench. DeMarco Minor spots up. That did everything but drop. Ibuka Okori leaves it. Rahosi finishes.
He must have heard me, Dave, because he now has 2 more points in the paint. That's 2 more than they've had in the whole first half, so by their post guys, and he can do that.
Stanford regains the lead. Now Minor waits for the screen from Corin. Witherspoon, the freshman. Cialeppa. All kinds of traffic inside, and he draws the foul.
Well, I thought that was a really good possession defensively by Stanford until that last play. You got to have foul discipline.
So Roman Cialeppa goes back to the free throw line, the freshman from Brisbane, Australia, who scored double figures in 13 of the last 16 games after doing that just 3 times in the first 11. He grew up a rugby player, big, strong guy, coach, and he does everything well except shoot free throws. He makes 51%.
Yeah, if you're going to play against him, you'd rather take a foul than let him get all the way to the rim or shoot the wide open shot.
There's the visual illustration of how well he has played as of late. And once again, he goes 1 for 2.
Well, keep your eyes on Okori. He's been double teamed, but he's starting to find guys now.
Thompson in the corner, misses everything.
Wide open look.
Cialeppa got it to go, and Roman Cialeppa with the field goal.
That's a good look. He had a step on Aiden Cameron, and he used it.
Cameron inside. Nice adjustment around Corin.
Well, that's what Stanford has to do. They put 2 guys on Okori, and Cameron slips in the seam of the defense, scores it at the paint.
Good news is offense has picked up. Bad news is, Coach, neither team's stopping either team.
No, but I think both teams have made great adjustments at half. They found out what they need to do to step things up in the second half.
11 lead changes in this game. Knocked out of bounds. Pittsburgh keeps it.
Well, it's amazing when you step up defensively how you get extra possessions, you get some transition baskets, and you just get more aggressive as a team. Your offense generally picks up, so both teams looking to get some stops and turn their defense into offense.
Donovan Young is checked in for Kyle Smith as Minor pulls the trigger back on a step-back 3. That was a big-time play.
Well, Benny Keeler had returned the favor in the first half, and Minor said, you can do it, I can do it better. That's a heck of a step-back 3.
Okori for 3. And the freshman counters.
Yeah, you know what? One-on-one, no double team. I'll do the same thing. Both teams employing the step-back shot for 3.
Corey's shooting 50% from 3 in the last 5 games, 13 of 26.
Yeah, that's getting it done.
And what I like about him, Coach, he doesn't seem to force the action, right?
No, he
For
never
a guy
does.
that good.
Never does. Great demeanor. Pretty good defender, too.
Boy, he is a good defender. I didn't notice it as much till you said that.
But he's got long arms, about 6'5" arm span.
And he's quick.
He'll pick your pocket, but, you know, Pitt's been playing some good defense of their own this game. Jeff Capel's team ready to play tonight.
Pitt switching off everybody, but it left Keeler open in the corner. And Dunning, nice job boxing out.
Yeah, you gave Keeler an open look. That's usually bottoms. Nice job, though, by Pitt. They're playing aggressively.
Corn, back door. Witherspoon gathered it. Minor pulls again from the top of the key. That one in and out.
Yeah, mostly good job on the glass.
Corey's so quick in the reverse.
I don't know how he finds the basket. He gets off on one side, he gets to the other, and he just kisses it off the glass. He's a load offensively.
6 total in the first half, 7 already in the first 5.5 minutes of this half. Corn had the hot hand in the first 20 for Pitt. Now only 4 left on this possession. Witherspoon splits the defenders. Cialepa has it blocked, and that'll be a shot clock violation. Good defense by Stanford.
That's great defense. Pitt not able to get a good look thanks to the Stanford defense. But Abuka, Corey, you know, you're gonna double me off screens. I don't need a screen. Just let me operate and score from 3. Kiss it off the glass. I'll take what you give me.
3-point Stanford lead at Maples, 47-44 over Pittsburgh in the ACC. Pitt has been shorthanded a majority of the season. Brandon Cummings, Papa Amadou Kante, and Deshaun Jackson all out. Cummings leading the team. Jeff Capel played 6 players against Notre Dame. Noyes Indricitis, the lone player off the bench, played a lot. Today he's played 7. Kieran Mullen played a little bit. But basically, Coach Capel has had to play really shorthanded, and when you're Jeff Capel, said, how do you do it? He said, you just get them to play.
Well, you know what I like, and his dad would be proud. They have one rule: no alibis, no excuses, and no complaining. It is what it is.
Corey gets his own rebound and lays it in.
Well, he avoided any type of contact there and skated by his defender. He's so adept at using the glass.
15 for Corey. He had 6 in the first half.
Yeah, big stat now. Pitt's not getting points in the paint. They've got 0 points in the paint.
And just as you say that, Coach,
yeah.
You drew it up for Corn inside.
Now he makes these free throws. You don't get credit for the points in the paint, but you should. But you know, if you haven't seen Abuka Corey play, you got to admire what he does. He's definitely can knock the 3 down. You know that. But now he can get by you, and he's just like elastic. He finds a way to get to the basket. But you know, Pitt dominated Stanford inside in the paint in the first half. They scored 0 in the paint this half. Conversely, Stanford's put 12 points in the paint. So they flipped the script to get back and take this lead.
That free throw ended a 7-0 run and over 3 minutes scoring drought for the Panthers.
You just wonder what Pitt could do if they had their full strength of players. And of course, Cal Smith and Stanford as well. They don't complain and make excuses, but they're missing Chisholm Okpara, 14 points, 4 rebounds. That's a lot.
Corey now off the dribble and lays it in against 2 bigs.
I counted 3.
Maybe there was 3.
I don't know. Dave, his ability to get by defenders is remarkable. He sheds one guy, goes through another, and then over the top of 2. I think he went by 4 guys in that play.
His ability to adjust in the air and on the ground. Ball movement leaves Dunning open.
Well,
Dunning buries it.
How about the unselfish play of the Pitt Panthers? 4 different guys touched the ball. Each guy gave up a good shot to get a great shot. Uncontested 3.
Stanford's made 5 of their last 7 field goal attempts. The double team now. It leaves Hielte alone underneath, and he is fouled by Andrositis.
You can see, I mean, here's a play where Corey just kind of sizes you up, gets you on skates, gets to the basket, goes by everybody. Interesting on that last play, you can see here, that's the 3 that Pitt knocks down, and all 4 guys touched it. But big difference the second half with Abuka Corey now getting some looks. Only took 3 shots in the first half.
Thompson inside, and Jalen Thompson making the most of his first start.
Well, I like what he's done in that he's an athletic player at 6'7". When he gets by you, he can attack the rim. He's a good-looking player, and only a sophomore.
8 points, a career high for Jalen Thompson. Hielte with a nice steal, and then he is fouled by Witherspoon.
Oscar Hielte, for minutes played, Dave, 14 minutes. He's got steals. He's got 33 blocks on the year, shooting 61% from the floor. I'm sure he's puts those numbers up, tells his coaches the same, But, Eric Revenue, who I've talked to before the game, just really likes this young man. He's an aggressive player. He can help this Cardinal team, and he's gotten better.
Thompson inside. Now Corey, he's got 6 to work with. He sets up his offense. And Corey goes by everybody. It's almost effortless.
No, it's not fair. One guy, I mean this, I'm not taking anything away from Pitt's defenders, but it's an unfair advantage if you're one-on-one with the Corey out top. You're going to need some help, which they gave the first half.
Dunning left alone in the corner, and he hits the 3.
Yeah,
Pitt is not going away, and the timeout is called.
Nice, unselfish play by Korn that really had it going in the first half. He found his teammate, but you want Abuka Corey, you got him. Here he shows it, and he finishes it. He can do it all.
55-52, Stanford on top. Corey has been the story here in the second half. The 3rd leading scorer freshman in the country, behind A.J. DeBonza and Cameron Boozer. Jay Thompson already with 8. That's a career high, making his first start. And inside Cameron too strong, and Dunning with the rebound for Pitt. We're in a TV window, too. At the next whistle, we'll take another break. Andrositis tried to get it to a cutting Witherspoon, and here's Okoye ahead of everybody, and an easy flush. Everything he does looks easy.
He made that dunk look easy. He looked over his shoulder and said, okay, I got to put this one down.
22 points for Abuka Okoye.
Good defense by Stanford. They're looking at some zone action now. They're in a 2-3 matchup, trying to keep Pitt off the glass.
Korn inside, fouled and counted.
You're not going to keep him off the glass. That's a great play call designed by Jeff Capel and Pitt to really attack Stanford at the rim.
So we'll take a break. 57-54, the Cardinal still up front, but it's only a 3-point lead.
Abuka Corey has turned things around. Only 1 for 3 in the first half. He's now 7 for 10. The adjustment that Stanford's made, Dave, is they've isolated him either at the wing or up top. They've taken away the ball screen, which then brings a second defender. And by the time you try to close the gap, he's already at the rim. So, I've been through this before with players. You can look at his stats. I had players in the past. First, Earl Boykins, I had that taught me that. And then later, Yende Obaka, Jerome Randall said, Coach, stop setting ball screens. You're bringing a second defender to the ball. And I learned from players that really players can score better if they don't have to play against 2 defenders.
Good strategy that's worked so far for Okorie, who has 21, one off his season average. Hammond handling the ball up top, which he doesn't normally do, but a foul on the floor will be called on the freshman, Amari Witherspoon.
Yeah, I like that Stanford's making a concerted effort now to utilize their big guys and get them to the rim. They only had a combined 2 points in the paint in the first half. They're doing a much better job second half.
Dent Smith off the inbound play. That's a design play. Got him a good look. And here comes Indricitis. Nice backdoor cut. Dunning with the finish.
How about that backdoor cut? As you mentioned, Dunning, a perfect backdoor cut and finish. He read the defense, the delivery for two.
Tied at 57. Okorie for three. Misses everything. Now DeMarco Minor pulls it back. Indricitis calls it out. Takes the screen from Korn. The kick out to Minor. Minor for three, no good. This time Okorie does get the screen. It leaves Dent Smith open. Witherspoon just ripped it away from Cannon. It leaves Indricitis wide open.
Well, how about that for a swing? The two they didn't get, and now the two that Pitt gets. Kyle Smith having to call a timeout. Pitt really showing you their aggression. I mean, I'm impressed with what they've done with less, but Indricitis, you know, he's in transition. He knows where to go, and he knows where to put the ball. Three ball.
So far, the points in the paint. Stanford in the second half really turned it around after getting outshone in that department in the first. And Okorie has 15 of his 21 in the second half, Coach.
He's doing a great job, but so is Pitt. Now Pitt shooting 56% from the floor this game.
Great defense by Korn. Would not leave his feet.
Now Pitt's really turning it up, but you know they shoot 42% on the year from the floor. This game they're shooting a hot 56%, really being efficient.
DeMarco Minor. Witherspoon no good, and up high for the rebound is Donovan Young. Okorie fouled again. It's hard to stay in front of Abuka Okorie.
No, you can't, and that's why I mentioned, you know, playing sometimes without the screen has been an advantage for Okorie because he's just going one-on-one, and he's usually good enough to beat somebody one-on-one.
Okorie missed. I heard the slapping there between Rahosi and Korn, but no whistle and play on.
They're banging each other really good right now in the post. That's a war down there.
Korn inside. The jump hook is good. Count the foul. And now Korn has 21 points. Chance for 22. His career high is 25.
But you got to do your work early. If you're a post player, you allow deep position, you're going to get beat. Where you allow the catch, where you allow your post player to get, and there may have to even be a double team or a help scheme involved. Korn is just too tough inside. He's a load.
11-0 run by the Panthers, and Korn's 5 of 6 from the free throw line.
He's now in a rhythm. You've given him the ability to get his confidence back.
It's the game's leading scorer with 22. Rahosi trapped along the baseline. Benny Keeler for three. And DeMarco Minor comes down with it.
And Stanford struggling to get something again inside, which they did early in this half. Now they're settling for some outside shots. Pitt's defense picking things up.
Pitt is on an 11-0 run over the last 3 minutes and 25 seconds. Corn just manhandling inside. Tip no good, and foul will be against Corn.
You know, he'll take that. And Dave, I didn't mind that as a coach. Your guy's getting offensive rebounds, and he's going to the top. I'm okay with that. As long as you don't pick up unnecessary fouls, but he's working as hard as he can inside. I mean, he's been a load. He's relentless. If you're Stanford now, you got to find a way for some other guys again off of Corey's drives.
Corey misses a wide open one. Stanford has not made a field goal in over 4 minutes. Cameron for 3. Young lost the ball out of bounds, and Stanford keeps it.
Yeah, good break for Stanford. I thought that was a pretty good defensive possession for Pitt. Stanford's struggling now to get in a rhythm offensively.
Get to the foul line or do something, Coach, right? It's been over 4 minutes.
Yeah, they've got to continue to attack.
All right, Cameron's wide open. Young with another offensive board.
These second shot opportunities are going to help Stanford.
See if Corey can break the drought. Lobs it up for Cameron inside, and an easy hoop and the foul.
Well, and there again, Dave, is Corey isolated out top, no screen, one-on-one. He blows by his defender. The help takes place, and Canham is the recipient of the over-the-top. Just a perfect pass. You don't throw bounce passes at your post guy's feet. You throw it up top, and he made it easy for Aiden Cameron. Now he's got a chance for a three-point play.
By the way, he couldn't see him, Coach. That was a heck of a pass because he had to throw it over 2 guys. He could not see where Cameron was.
Well, he finds a way, and that's why he's so dangerous. But you've got to love playing with Abuka Corey. Pitt did a really good job on him in the first half, limiting him to 3 shots. This half, the adjustments, again, Stanford's made, not bringing ball screens.
Next Tuesday night's ACC Network men's basketball doubleheader at 7 Eastern. The 11th ranked Virginia hosts Wake Forest. The number 24 Louisville hosts Syracuse. Like everything else, both games available on the ESPN app.
Yeah, keep your eye on that Louisville team. They've been tough this year. Stanford beat that team earlier, but they've got some players, and they got their best player back in Mike Cabral, so they're going to be tough down the stretch of this season.
Cannon has 9 points as he knocks in his first free throw. Keeler got his hand on the pass.
Now Stanford's turning it up a notch now. You know, you wonder, will fatigue become a factor in this game with Pitt really basically playing 6 guys and occasional 7th.
Right.
Stanford's got to continue to play hard defensively, but Pitt's just been tough.
Andrositis off the dribble. Minor spots up for 3.
Yeah, good challenge by Benny Geeler.
Here comes Okoye, and he draws the foul. They count it.
Well, Jeff Capel doesn't like that. He said, what's with the NBA continuation? But, Dave, that's a new rule this year. You are allowed to get that continuation. You can see it. He drives, he blows by 2 guys, he takes that Euro step, knows that if you're in your act or you're gathering to shoot it, you will get credit. Just a heady player beyond his freshman year is Abuka Corey.
Above his average now at 23 points. He's been perfect from the free throw line so far, 6 for 6.
Well, he's made so many big plays for this team to pull games out. You try so many different things against him, and again, I thought Pitt had just a perfect game plan first half. He got 3 shots, and so they try to make other guys beat you. Now we got a game.
1-point game. Pittsburgh with the lead. But a 6-0 run here on Stanford after somehow surviving a 4-minute-plus drought.
The scoreboard has us tied.
It is tied now.
Don't take a point away that quick.
Dunning, no. The tip, no. And he got the foul on the second effort.
Yeah, how good has Pitt been on that offensive glass? Cal Smith not happy with his team, giving up just relentless tips to the basket. But, I mean, there's the miss. Nobody puts a body on the tip. And there's 2-3 tap backs without really a clear box out. Pitt with a chance to take the lead.
And we mentioned Pittsburgh being a really poor free throw shooting team. They're shooting over 75%, which is well above their average.
Well, they smell a win. When you smell a win, sometimes you'll step up a little bit.
The confidence thing we talked about, right?
Yeah, I think you got to play with that. And you know, they're hungry right now. They desperately want to get this game, as does Stanford. That's why these teams are playing so hard against one another.
Corey splits the defenders again.
No screen, no problem. One-on-one. Try to stop me if you can. Jeff Capel shaking his head. He's seen players like this, certainly playing at Duke and against teams like North Carolina in his career.
Corey has 20 in the second half, and we have a TV timeout. So, Abuka Okori had 6 to start the first half. Now he just jumps in the air and splits 2 defenders.
Yeah.
And it looks easy, but what he is doing is not easy.
No.
It's a 1-point game.
Jim Shaw, I mean, these are veteran coaches, but he knows he's in a dogfight, that Pitt's hungry. They want to get to the tournament. They're not feeling sorry for themselves. They're competing.
Minor now draws the double team. Witherspoon, the freshman, has it picked by another freshman, Okori, who he has it blocked from behind by Witherspoon.
That's a phenomenal play in pursuit of Abuka Okori. I mean, he chased him down. He made a legal block. That's a basket-saving play. Wow. And you saw Abuka Okori. You talk about his offense, Dave. That's that arm span, that wingspan, and that ability to come up with a ball and steal.
Okori in the corner. The 3 is good. Okori has 29.
Yeah, if you haven't seen this young man play, you're in for a treat. Jeff Capel trying everything he can to try to get a stop against Okori, and he's making it difficult.
4-point Cardinal lead and a foul underneath.
You know, Dave, you think about ways to stop an effective player. You can double him, which they did in the first half, but then you're allowing some other guys like Benny Geeler to get open for easy shots, or Jalen Thompson to attack the rim. But look at what he's done.
31 of the 36 second half
and he's
points.
done that all year long. There's games when he's accounted for 40 plus. And by the way, there's been a game where he has scored 40. So sky's the limit for that young man.
Just keep an eye on Pitt at the free throw line late in this game. They shoot a poor 65% from the free throw line.
There's a screen now. They're going to put 2 on the ball. Stanford's got to recognize that and find. Now here's Okori out top, no screen.
Okori left alone. Tiny space, and that's all he needs. He has 32.
Kyle Smith, hats off to you, my friend. No screen has been a pretty good recipe for Abuka Okori.
He scored the last 11 points. Corin inside, no good. Thompson the rebound.
And now Kyle Smith is asking his freshman guard, slow things down. Take some clock.
8-0 run for the Cardinal.
There's a one-on-one again. No help.
Came and stepped out of bounds.
Corey's an unselfish player. He saw his post guy open. Aiden Cameron was there. Gave it up. Aiden hounds his freshman leader. Says, my bad. Pitt's still within striking distance.
Need a hoop here pretty desperately. Dunning in the corner. And he buries a three.
Yeah, huge basket. Huge basket by Pitt.
And let's see if Capel called a timeout. I think he did after the three went down. They do. They call 30-second timeout, and we'll take a quick break, too.
Barry Dunning, a big three to keep Pitt in this basketball game. Ice in his veins.
(71-67), Stanford on top. If you're Coach Capel and you just called that timeout after the Dunning three, what was he telling his team?
Well, you obviously want to do something. You don't want a Corey to be the guy that beats you. If you double him early or run a guy at him, you gotta protect and just make sure you don't give up a wide open look. But I'd be willing to take my chances with anybody else whose name is not Abuka Corey right now. Pressure.
Thompson gets it across, and Corey's smart decision.
Well, I like it. They've got the lead. You don't have to be in a hurry. You can chisel this down.
The double team jumps up. Now he wants it back, and Minor won't let him get it. Now he does. 5 on the shot clock. Corey finally realizes that. No foul call, and here comes Pitt with numbers because Corey's trailing the play. Witherspoon, the freshman, deflected by Benny Gieler.
Well, there's a minute to play here, Dave, so if you're Pitt, you want to get on the board. You don't care if it's a free throw, a 2 or a 3 would be great, but you got to get a score here. You don't want Stanford to have it under a minute to play with a chance to take time off that clock. You need to find a way to score.
Dunning off the inbound play, and Young up high for the rebound, and Stanford with a 4-point lead and a minute left.
Well, Dunning just hit that last three from the exact same spot. Now, if you're Pitt, you might have to play the foul game.
That's what I was going to ask you, to play it out.
I don't know
if you foul, you don't. Now that you've waited, now you don't foul.
No, you don't, and you have to get some help.
It's too late in the shot clock. Gieler, tough, high-arching three, no good. Cameron lives it in, right to beat the shot clock, and a timeout.
Jeez, of Lorenzo Charles, North Carolina State.
It was Lorenzo, without the dunk. 73-67, we're right back. Player of the game is brought to you by Daisy Cottage Cheese, and Coach Ben brought to the surprise of nobody, it is Abuka Corey.
Well, he was quiet in the first half, but that had a lot to do with the Pitt defense, Dave. The second half, the adjustment that Kyle Smith and his staff made, I think, really put Abuka Corey in position to hurt Pitt. They took away the ball screen. They isolated him up top with no help, with no ability to play a second defender from Pitt, and he made every possession count. Now they got to get on the board if you're Pitt, score, quickly call timeout and foul.
Down by 6, you need a hoop three, and you need one quickly. They miss it, and Corey runs it down. Now they're going to have to foul, and you don't want to foul him, but they do anyway, and Corey will have a chance to add to his 32 points.
Well, you know, what makes him so special, Dave, and I've seen a number of guys, you know, that play at a high level, but very few that play as freshmen and do what he's done. He competes at an elite level. He has tremendous composure, and he doesn't mind playing under pressure. His team was, I mean, this is pressure. They've got to win these games to be considered for this tournament.
Already has a 40-point game, and he's got 34 here tonight. Pitt's got to score quickly and get the ball back. Dunning for 3. No good. Corey with the rebound. And Stanford is going to get a tough win at home.
A big win by Stanford and a valiant effort by Pitt. I mean, your hat's off to what they did, but Stanford found a way in the second half, and one of the ways was to get Ebuka Okori involved in this game.
How about the resiliency of the Stanford team surviving many Pitt runs?
Well, they did, and they had to play good defense of their own. Pitt was a better defensive team in the first half. I thought in the second half, Stanford was a better defensive team. So they turned it up defensively, and obviously when you have a guy by the name of Ebuka Okori on your team, you have a weapon.
Ebuka Okori finished with 34 points, 11 of 19 from the field, 3 of 6 from 3, and 9 of 9 from the free throw line as Stanford snaps a 2-game losing streak. An impressive win for the Stanford Cardinal, 75-67. And Okori, Ben Braun, you have to believe that this is a guy that can do things at the next level.
Yeah, he is. You know, when is the question, but he has a lot of the factors that you need to be a pro. I've had some guys.
A game-high 34 for Okori. For Ben Braun and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Dave Feldman. 75-67, the Cardinal winners in Palo Alto.